So Tim Tebow is going to be here at 12:30. So the AKA lunch will be at 12:30. So at 12:30, just so we're clear, if you bought a VIP ticket, which I did not, so I'm going to be here, general admission, and so what that means is we'll have great food for you, provided by Ted's. It's a Mexican restaurant. We'll have great food here. But if you did buy a ticket, a VIP ticket, what you're going to want to do, hey, James, I need you real quick here. This is James. This is James. Yeah. And so James will be leading the march to victory. So you'll be following James from here. So James will meet you here at 12:30. Okay, so like we'll say 12:20. We're going to meet right here, and then we're going to walk to my house. And so if you bought a VIP ticket, you'll be going to my house for the VIP meet and greet with Tim Tebow. And then we'll do that. And then Tim will come back and speak here at 2, all right? So, and if you didn't buy a VIP, we'll be hanging out. I'll be happy to answer your questions. I'd love to meet you, connect with you. But Tim Tebow will come back for a session at 2 o'clock. So our next session after lunch, okay, will be at 2. Got that? So we're going to break from basically 12:30 to about 2. We on the same page? So we'll break from 12:30 to about 2. So 12:30, that'll be our final session. And so that's what we're going to do. And we're going to answer all the questions on the whiteboard here. So we're going to start off by answering a few questions on the board, and then we're going to bring up a success story and figure out how we did it. So, Aaron, let's answer a few of the questions on the board here.
Podcasting for marketing purposes, post on YouTube channel, best editing platform, ?
In my office, we use all the Adobe products. So we happen to use, Adobe Lightroom, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Premiere. That's what we use. And the reason why I use Adobe, who here has employees? Okay. I just want everybody on the same language, the same idea, the same. So if everybody's using their own software, then it becomes very difficult for anything to get done. So we use Adobe here. I would use Adobe Premiere. If you want to use something else, I've heard arguments for Final Cut, arguments for other things. That's great, but we use Premiere. That's what we use here. So next one.
Best tool to utilize for obtaining Google reviews at checkout?
Well, that's the human.
There is not one.
That's human interaction. And I don't mean that to be sarcastic or difficult, but what will happen is a lot of people, a lot of business owners, what they'll do, and I'll just walk you through the things that don't work, and you can put this on page 0 of your book somewhere. And I know this because I work with a lot of companies. So at OxyFresh, that's the carpet cleaning brand, all right? What we find is that if people do not leave a review while you're in the home, they won't do it. So while we're there to clean your house, if you don't leave it, then you won't do it. And it's not because our customers aren't nice. It's because, but how many of you have found that to be true, that they don't leave a review unless they do it right then? Show of hands. Okay. So, and we have a haircut chain, elephant in the room. And we were competing with Sports Clips, just, in our business, Sports Clips. Sports Clips is like $1 billion company, and we outperform them. So if you Google search Broken Arrow men's haircuts, look that up there, Sean. We outperform them. So we get, 10 times more online leads than Sports Clips. And I know this because we've had, just kind of zoom out a little bit so you can see some context there, so you see the elephant in the room. And I know this because we've had some of the different locations show up at the conference under a false pretext. They'll pretend like they're an insurance agent or a doctor, and I know their faces sometimes. And one of the guys is like, I don't understand it, man. You guys are killing us. And I go, well, because I'm willing to do the thing you're not, and you're never going to do it. Like, you just don't have what it takes. You can come to the workshop, and I could teach you, but you won't do it.
But you still won't do it.
But they put up who's been to Sports Clips? They're a good place. And one of my friends owns a very successful one in Missouri, but they put up a post-up stand with a QR code, and they want that to work. It also doesn't work for dating. Have you talked to your kids about dating? Have you talked to them? The QR code isn't a move? Okay, so you got to actually ask a human, like, hey, if you could leave a Google review, an objective Google review, it'd mean the world to us. Now, I'll walk you through all the things that don't work so you can discover those if you want to. There's a program called Listen 360 that will text every customer after the transaction and ask them to leave a review, which they won't do, but they'll charge you a fee, and it feels good because you feel like you've asked, but they still won't do it. There's one called Trustpilot. It's also a great way to not get a Google review. It's a fabulous way.
Experience.com. There's another one.
There you go. There's geofencing tools that don't work. There's QR codes that don't work. There's automated signs. There's an AI app that will drip. Who gets drip emails from companies and you hate them now?
Oh, there's another one where you don't ask, and that doesn't work either.
ClickFunnels is a fantastic way to get poor. ClickFunnels is a great way. So all I said, you have to ask. And so, Steve, let's role play it. Here you go. Sir, how was your haircut today?
Sucked. Well, none of my hair's left, but go ahead. What was your question?
But no, let's just say that you did have a good
I'm sorry.
How was your haircut experience?
It was great. I was great. Thank you.
This is what we say. Well, hey, if you could leave us an objective review, it'd really mean the world to us and our small business here, and it would just mean the world to us. Could you do that today?
Yeah, where do I do it?
And then we have to walk you through it because no one can figure it out. Who knows what I'm talking about? And we have to walk you through it.
They can't log into their Gmail.
Now, if you don't like that story,
find it.
let's go to Topeka, Kansas. Type in Topeka Gyms, a gym in Topeka. It's a Topeka gym, Topeka Gyms, Topeka, Kansas. And our client right there outperforms the big box gyms. I know this. There's Co-Law Fitness, my client. I've had their competition come to our conferences under a false pretext, pretending to be somebody else. And they pulled me aside. 'Cause I only work with one business per industry in a city. I don't work with like I work with you, John, and your moving company, but I don't work with like two movers. You get the idea why I wouldn't do that, right? Conflict of interest. And so their biggest competitor came to the conference and they go, how much do you charge them? I mean, come on, tell me. I go, $1,700 is my typical deal. I charge $1,700 a month. In most of my deals, I get a small percentage of growth. So $1,700 month to month, and if it works out well, we do like a point or two of growth. And they go, well, we'll pay $8,000 a month to help us. I go, not going to do it. Well, come on, $8,000 a month. This is corporate private equity. We'll pay you $8,000 a month. I go, can't do it. And like, well, can you please explain to me how this small business is killing us? And I go, he's willing to do what you're not willing to do, and you never will because corporate America doesn't get it. You're going to do the QR code and the drip campaign and the AI automated piss people off thing, and it won't work. But he's going to ask people. So what they do is they say, how was your workout today? Was it great? Here you go. Here's a free protein bar. Thank you for your time. And if you could leave us a review, it'd mean the world to us. That's how you do it. But you got to do it. And our doctor friend, could you come up here real quick there, sir, Dr. Steve? Dr. Steve, he's a doctor, so people respect him more than me. People go, I don't like that guy. But this guy, he has a degree. Yeah. By the way, our next speaker, you're going to like him even more than everybody who we brought up so far, so it's going to be exciting. So, Dr. Steve, when you ask for reviews, I mean, I want to I don't want to dwell on this too much, but why do you have to ask?
Because they won't do it.
Who won't do it?
The patients won't do it. And we even have a system that'll text them, like after the fact, hey, how was your visit, blah, blah, blah. And you might get one or two of those.
And to quote George Bush, not going to do it, wouldn't be prudent, not going to do it, not going to. They're just not going to do it. They're going to say they're going to. Who knows what I'm talking about? They're not going to do it. Okay? So I'm just telling you, you got to create some kind of urgency there. Is that helpful for anybody? Is that helpful?
I just confuse them into it. I'm standing in their presence, and I'll just say, hey, do you have your phone on you? And they're like, yeah. Can you get it out? Yeah. Can you type in Broken Arrow Home Builder? And they're like, yeah. And then I'm like, see right there where it says reviews? Can you give me one? And they're like, oh, I see what you did.
You're sneaky.
But that's the best way. If you're standing in front of them, just have them get out their phone. They don't even know what they're doing until they're at the point of being ready to give you a review.
Sneaky. Next question.
Sneaky.
Next question.
Hold on, wait. I want to bring something up here, Clay.
Yep.
I feel like I've been getting asked about these tools like a ton, these little pop card thingies too. Can you
They're all
explain
tools
why
that
those
don't work,
don't work?
but they're okay, keep going. Yeah, what do you got? They're all tools that don't work. I mean, I don't know what I can say. It's like, have you ever been to a gay wedding? I have a sign right there. You see my sign? See, it says, warning, no matter how hard two men try, right above your head there, right above your head, Kim, right above your head. See that sign? It says, warning, two men cannot reproduce no matter how hard they try. I don't know. I mean, that argument, we could spend the rest of the day talking about that, but there's somebody in here who wants to argue it, and I don't want to see you try to work it out. But anyway, it's not anatomically possible. So, whatever. So whenever you start talking about tools that don't work, my gaydar goes off. Keep going. Next.
How do I get my employees to do VISM?
Merit-based pay. You can have all the motivational meetings in the world, but if there's not merit-based pay, it's not going to work. Okay? Merit-based pay, merit-based pay. Carrot and stick. Merit-based pay. I want to get Dr. Steve's take on this, then Steve's take, and then we're going to bring up our next presenter. So, Dr. Steve, merit-based pay. At the end of the day, you can have all the motivational talks, all the pep talks, all the cultural meetings, but unless there's some sort of carrot and stick and some sort of accountability, things don't happen. Why?
Okay, so I just mentioned earlier, we hit 30 patients per day, first time ever. And the way that came about was at the beginning of the month, I said, guess what? We're going to have 30 patients a day this month. And they're like, okay. And I said, and I'm going to give you $100 at the end of the month for doing that. Each of you get $100. And they're like, okay. And that's what happened. And it just worked. And we have to walk that line all the time. We work with Natalie, and she's awesome because, like, everything I do, I'm like, hey, and we could pay them extra $3 or whatever for this. Is like, don't pay them for every little thing. Like that's their job to do that, but you got to pick and choose, like, what are you going to incentivize them to do?
Does that make sense? We're on the same page? Avery, this one's for you, and Thomas. As a home cleaning business, what you'll find is that if you pay your teammates who clean homes, you say, you will get this much money per house you clean. Bottom line. So no matter how long it takes you to clean that customer's house, this is how much you're getting. This is what we're paying no matter what. If they're happy. Now, if they're not happy, I'm paying you the minimum wage that my state allows me to pay, and it's probably more than I want to pay you. So if you piss my customers off, you're making minimum wage. And if you don't do that, they'll never do a good job. They'll break things. They'll show up late. Who's ever had a house cleaner that broke things, stole things, jacked stuff up? So you just got to make sure you have merit-based pay in there. Steve, any thought on merit-based pay? But then we'll go ahead and introduce our next presenter.
My entire team is merit-based pay. They get a smaller salary, and they get paid when we close loans. So it keeps them engaged in the process. And I mean, they're perfect, but Casey, who's my right hand, makes more than double what her salary is just on override that she gets on loans closing. And so she's fully engaged in the business because she gets paid when we close loans. And if you have everybody that just gets paid, whether you do the job or not, then you're going to do the job a lot less.
Sounds like the government. Okay, well, thank you, Steve, Aaron, and we're going to bring up our next presenter here. Okay, so now our next presenter, I got to tell you a fun story here. I met this guy, again, through the Reawaken Tour, quick summary. Who, by show of hands, has any idea what that was? All it was, let me tell you what it was, what it wasn't. All it was is I knew that the models that said 2.2 million people would die from COVID were false. That's all it was. And how do I know that? Because I'm kind of anybody here naturally counterintuitive? Like if you tell me that I should go see a movie, I'm naturally thinking I don't want to see the movie. And then you have to kind of convince me. Or if you say, oh man, everyone loves it, I'm always thinking, who's everyone? I always think that way. If you quote somebody, I want to look it up. If you give me a stat, I want to verify. Anybody like that? You're kind of trust but verify, paranoid. So I just, like, the models are false. And then the PCR tests are false. Remember those COVID tests, the PCR tests? And so I called a friend of mine named Dr. Rashid. May he rest in peace. He's a Muslim guy, doctor. He was a client of mine for a long time. I called Rashid. I said, Rashid, you know Kerry, the guy who invented the COVID tests. You know Kerry Mullis, right? And he goes, yeah, I knew Kerry. I go, aren't those tests false? And he goes, yeah, they're 100% false. And Kerry tried to tell everybody until they killed him. And I go, what? He's like, he was trying to tell people, and then he died in a very Clinton kind of way. And I go, are you serious? And he's like, no, I'm serious. Like, he just, all of a sudden, I mean, he was trying to tell people, do not use my tests, and then they whacked him. And I go, okay, so the models are false, the PCR tests are false. I'm like, Dr. Rashid, if I went to the hospital and I took remdesivir and midazolam, which was the COVID protocol, remember? Remdesivir, midazolam, and a ventilator. Remember that? Rashid's like, well, if you wanted to kill someone, that's what you would do, is you would take remdesivir, which causes renal failure. It was designed to cause renal failure. And midazolam, which is a breath suppressant. They use it for death row, by the way. Midazolam is used before they put someone to death. Midazolam. And a ventilator, it'll kill them. That's how you kill people. So the treatments killed people. And I'm going, well, we should probably tell people this. I was thinking it was a good thing. And as a result of talking about it, I got removed from the radio show I was on. They canceled my show, despite being the top rated. And then YouTube deleted me. LinkedIn got deleted. And then about 90% of the people I've ever met were like, you're a conspiracy theorist. Or what do you think, Michelle Obama's a man? I'm like, well, I didn't say that. I went, what? You're saying we didn't go to the moon? I'm like, I'm not going there. So I bet you think that the third tower got scared and fell down. And I'm going, I'm not saying, I'm just saying the models are, who knows what I'm talking about once you get pushed into that category. I'm like, I didn't say anything about any of those things. All I know is that the models are false, PCR tests are false, treatments are real. And then we have a First Amendment right to peaceably assemble. And the Bible tells us in Hebrews 10:25, right? Don't forsake the gathering even as you draw closer to the end. So I called Aaron. I said, Aaron, we need to keep open. We stay open. So Aaron, let's be open. And Aaron's like, all right, well, we thought there'd be a lot of people joining us in our efforts to stay open. And I think the first time it was Aaron and me and Aaron and I, and we were motivated. And we just stayed open. And then Steve joined right away. We sued the mayor of Tulsa to keep the city open. And Dr. Zellner signed up for that, and Meehan. And there was like 7 of us, I think, that signed on that initial thing. And through the process, then Sean Foyt came for a praise and worship night. And then all of a sudden, General Flynn showed up. And then all of a sudden, Eric Trump's in my life. And next thing you know, people are like, you're a Trumper. And I'm like, I don't know that I am a Trumper or not a Trumper, but I want to stay open. And okay. And so all of a sudden, I got known as this political guy. But I really don't like either political party. This just in. I'm not a big fan. Anybody kind of share my beliefs on political parties? If you don't, it's okay. I'm kind of like two wings of the same bird. Oftentimes, I'm like, two wings of the same bird. I don't know which party I'm excited about. Anyway, so I met a lot of fake people through the process. Anybody meet a lot of fake politicians? It's exciting. Fake people. You know, one in particular, it's awesome. But it turns out the husband's a cross-dresser, and this person sleeps with... Who's been following that story recently? The husband's a cross-dresser. Very conservative governor, awesome story. But anyway, so it's like I just meet these people like, wow, it's awesome. I didn't know your husband's a cross-dresser and you're a swinger, and it's, wow, I love your conservativeness. Anyway, I meet these people, and I'm meeting a lot of crazy people. And then one day I met a guy who wasn't crazy, which is very rare. I told my wife, there's this guy... Mike Mazie, I like him, and Masood introduced me to him. So Masood said, you got to meet this guy. Now, let me tell you about Mike Mazie. Mike Mazie is the founder and the CEO of Trinity Strategic Wealth, which is an independent wealth management firm with over $1.5 billion that they manage. And so, but then, because he hates himself, he decided to become an Oklahoma Senate member in 2004. He ran for that, and he served District 25 for 12 consecutive years, I believe. And then he went to work for Governor Stitt and helped balance the budget, I think, for the first time in the history of a long time. And now he's here. So, Mike Mazie, welcome to the mic, sir. How are you? Yeah. I'll let you take that mic. So,
great to be here, Clay.
We're
Look at this awesome crowd.
We're going to talk about business, and then we'll talk a little bit about governor stuff, okay? But business.
Okay.
How'd you start your business?
In 1996, I was working here in Tulsa, Oklahoma for a small independent investment firm, and my boss asked me to lie to the clients. And I said, Lord, I either got to find another career or we got to start our own business. So we started our own business. We had saved a little bit of money, Clay, but the old boss sued me for $4 million. And I didn't have $4 million, but I did have the Lord. And so we fought through that 11 months, paid my great friend and lawyer a lot of legal fees. And
we share the same lawyer.
And we share the same lawyer.
We share the same lawyer. We love to enrich the same man. Okay.
Yes.
So, and then your practice, how does your business derive money? Like, how do you make money as an entrepreneur? What does your business do?
Well, we're fee-based wealth management advisors, so we have a process called the financial freedom process to give people comprehensive wealth management and financial planning and fee-based asset management services. So we only make money when we protect and grow our clients' money. And the more we protect and grow their money, the more we protect and grow our revenue.
Interesting model. So you decided to run for office. Why did you run for office? And again, I just want to be clear. Has anybody here spent a lot of time around politicians? Have anybody here done this? It's a very unique breed of people. Usually it's the least talented, dumbest, and most motivated individuals you've ever... Let me repeat. The least talented, dumbest, and motivated people. It's like, you remember American Pie, that movie? You remember that? Stifler? You know that character, just the dumb jock guy? You know what I'm talking about? It's like the dumbest. That's typically who runs, usually. So you meet these people and you're like, it's like Biff from Back to the Future. Hello, McFly, you know. So who's met politicians? They're usually dumb and highly motivated, and they're usually corrupt, and that's how they got there. So they're usually like, I'll do anything for $1. And so when I found out that you were in political office, I'm going, you're one of the few people I've ever met that actually has a viable career before running for office. Most of these people have no wealth, and then they run for office, and then they become investment geniuses. Like Pelosi's an investment genius. I don't know if you, and when she's not drunk, she's an incredible investment genius. She's incredible. Joe Biden, his son Hunter, they're great investment strategic people. So why did you decide to run? Because it's very abnormal for anybody who's in business to run for anything.
Well, I had worked, Clay, in the United States Senate as a college intern during the Reagan Revolution, and I saw how he figured out government was the problem. And after some business success, I saw how the state of Oklahoma government was the problem. And I would read that the retirement systems for teachers and firefighters and police officers was almost bankrupt. And then I'd read that we were given hundreds of millions of dollars to the green energy scam of the wind power companies. And I thought, I know a little bit about money and finance. Maybe I can get in there and fix a couple things.
Who's ever driven by these fantastic wind? I booked some speaking events back in the day when I sold DJ Connection. There's Northwestern Oklahoma, I think it's called Northwestern Oklahoma State or something. Not that you would know every college in Oklahoma, but isn't there
Woodward, Oklahoma.
What's that?
Woodward, Oklahoma.
Yes, that's where it is. And for some reason, they kept booking me to speak and teach entrepreneurship. And I would drive by these fantastic windmills. Have you seen these things? And they never move. Now, I'm a genius, and I started thinking to my genius self, I'm like, if that thing's not moving, I bet you it's not making a lot of power. You ever had these thoughts? When the bird killers aren't killing all the birds, they're also not generating power, And so you got in there, and you were in office for 12 consecutive years?
12 years, 10 years as Senate Finance Chairman. I did kill in 2015 the $1.5 billion giveaway to the wind power companies.
Amen. I hate those things. Does anyone else hate looking at those things? Not only do they not work, I feel like when I see those windmills, I feel like I'm watching a man pee into the wind. Have you ever driven down traffic and accidentally seen someone peeing on the side of the road? You ever seen that phenomenon? I feel like I'm watching that when I see those. That's how I feel about it. Okay, it's like petting a cat backwards, kind of weird. Okay, so you get in there, and what were some of the accomplishments that you did during your 12 years?
Well, I did also fix the almost bankrupt pension systems for teachers and police officers, and we went from worst in the country to now we're almost top 10. And I passed 2 huge tax cuts, and in August, please remember this, I launched the Oklahoma Back-to-School Sales Tax Holiday. All told, during my tenure, Clay, we saved taxpayers $10 billion.
Now, I'm just going to get very real on this. My wife and I were talking as recently as yesterday, and my wife and I were we were talking, and she was pointing out to me that our property taxes for this particular window of time, just for property taxes during this particular window, who loves paying taxes? You get excited about it? I know, I'm like, please spend more government so I can pay more. I find myself chanting, tax me more, tax me. No, I don't, right? So, but I was talking to my wife, and during this particular period of time in our taxes, we paid something like $92,000 in property taxes, just in this particular portion of the year. And I'm like, if I were dead, then you would have to somehow generate $92,000 of income during that window 4 times a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd have to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just to live in the houses or properties we have that are paid for debt-free. Does that make sense? And so that's property. Who knows what I'm talking about? Property taxes. It's like, even if you've paid for it, you're still renting it from the state. So the first thing you said that didn't irritate me, and again, I don't like politicians, almost entirely. Just really, I mean, I haven't yet met a governor that I like. I'm working on it. When their husband's a cross-dresser, it kind of throws me off the trail a little bit. I have a hard time focusing. But anyway, so, when you said, it's hard to focus on that. You had said, hey, I want to lower property taxes. That was like a boop, 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 boop. So what is your plan? You're running for governor, and some people like you, some people don't. But if you do in Oklahoma, if you become governor, what is your property tax plan?
We're going to abolish property taxes for seniors 65 and older in 2 years.
Now, who's been to Florida? Who's been to Florida? In Florida, there's no what kind of tax? People in Florida? Texas, there's no what? And Ron DeSantis is talking about getting rid of what kind of tax? Property. Okay, but property tax is a big problem, okay? So you're talking about doing what again?
Abolishing property taxes for seniors and also career military veterans.
Okay, now the second area I want to get into is in Oklahoma. How many of you live in Tulsa or are aware of the city of Tulsa beyond just being here? Okay, in Tulsa, I was looking it up, doing some research in preparation for getting ready for this conversation. And in Tulsa, we're spending over $20,000 per student.
23.
Okay, we're spending $23,000 a student per year in Tulsa public schools.
Only 10% of them can read.
So let's do the math. Sean, let's do the math. The average size class, and Sean, pull it up on the screen, and please take me off the, yeah, we go. So Sean, type in 23,000 times 30. So the average class size has 30 kids in it, ish, maybe more than that. So, okay, so do that. So this is the budget. Now, real quick, let's say you guys are about 30 of you here, okay? So Randy, you're the teacher in the class, okay? So if I was in charge, if Randy and I are in charge of the state of Oklahoma just for a week, okay? I'd say we got a budget of $690,000 per 30 kids. So I'm in charge of the budget. Randy's the teacher. I say, Randy, I'm going to pay $100,000 a year to teach our kids. Follow me. Someone follow me on this, okay? Pay $100,000 to teach the kids because you're the teacher. And then I'm going to pick up all the kids every single day in a limo and drive them to school in a limo, not a bus, in a limo. I'm going to get you a lifetime membership and a personal trainer that trains you every single day. Every single day we're training you, okay? Going to get you Olive Garden every day and buy every kid a new iMac computer that they can keep every year, a new one every year. And that's still not $690,000. Did someone follow the math I just did there? I know this because I used to work with a limousine company, and back in the day I did the math on this. You could literally pick up a kid every single day, personal limo service, every day, every kid, pay the teacher $100,000 a year, give every kid a new iMac they could keep, take the kids to Lifetime Fitness for, how many of you know they got rid of PE? You can have you could have and it's still not 600. Where's the money going?
We're pouring money into a failed system that a few decades ago was taken over by liberal left socialist thinking fads. For example, the reading curriculum got hijacked by this crazy word association-based reading, and phonics went out the window. And we've now learned, Clay, from the state of Mississippi that forced phonics back into all the curriculum. They've gone from 50th to first in the country in reading outcomes, and here in Oklahoma, we're 49th.
I just want to be super clear. Does that number shock anybody? Is anybody else shocked by 23,000 per student? Just to give you context, my kids go to a private school, and John, what's that cost per year to private school? What's that cost? 15. My kids go to a private school, $15,000 a year per student, and the education, in my opinion, is really, really, really good. And the facilities are really, really, really good in comparison to public schools. And it's 15. What are they doing with the money? So these are the things, but again, there's no merit-based pay. Let's talk about that. In your business, if someone was working for your financial management fund and they weren't producing for your clients, they wouldn't make a commission because you make money based off of success, right?
Yep.
Why do teachers keep getting more and more pay every year despite getting worse outcomes? Why does that happen? What happens in Oklahoma? What's going on?
Let me put it to you this way, Clay. In how many elections did Donald Trump win all 77 counties for president? But in Oklahoma, we have 541 school districts that are run by liberal, left-leaning socialists because school board elections are in these crazy dates in February, May, and April, and the only ones that show up are the left-leaning socialist liberals and their friends. So we have to change school board elections to the general election date, and any candidate that wants to run for school board has to designate whether they're a Republican or a Democrat, so you know their worldview.
Now, the next couple more questions here for you is as far as running for office, I'd like to know your background. You did work with Governor Stitt. Mm-hmm. What did you do underneath the governance, while working with Governor Stitt? Like, what did you do? What accomplishments did you have or not have? What was your role?
I was Governor Stitt's first Secretary of Finance, and together we orchestrated Oklahoma getting to $1 billion in savings for the first time. And thank the Lord we did, because during the pandemic, we needed every penny to make sure the bills got paid for state government, because unfortunately, as you know, the economy was closed down for a little while.
Now, for people out there that are contemplating voting for you or not voting for you or whatever, if you were in office, what are your big things you want to do? That'll be my final question for you. If you get in office, I'll give you the flat platform here, give you the floor. What would you? We'll answer questions on the whiteboard. We'll keep you up here for Q&A. But what would you do if you go in there, day 1, day 2, day 3? What are maybe your top 5 things, top 3 things you want to do?
We want to launch a wave of growth and prosperity for the people of Oklahoma, and there's 3 priorities to do that. In addition to property tax relief, I have a 3-part plan to eliminate the Oklahoma income tax in 6 years. 2, to get our schools teaching kids to read at grade level. I'm going to hire a statewide literacy director in my very first week and replicate that Mississippi model, which requires phonics and what's known as the 3rd grade reading gate, because kids have to learn to read by 3rd grade. So after that, they can read to learn. And then 3, I think you'll find this fascinating, instead of giving $1 billion worth of tax incentives and cash to a Middle East company that only promised us 1,000 jobs, we're going to launch an Oklahoma Small Business Capital Program to teach best practices with volunteer members of the Department of Commerce.
We have not discussed this previously, but if you want to learn the standards, I'm down.
No interest loans and great marketing and growth strategies, and collaborate with 5,000 Oklahoma businesses to grow 10 jobs each in 4 years. Now, that's not as sexy as these mega deals, but that's 50,000 permanent jobs, and all the profits stay right here in Oklahoma.
Am I the only one who's spent way too much time with politicians? I don't know if you've met these people. I'm just telling you, usually they have never had any interaction with the business at all, and now they're trying to tell you how to run yours. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep you up here, and we're going to do a little Q&A. Now, Steve, I'm going to bring you up here. I'm going to bring up Steve. I also want to bring up Randy Antrican, if I can, and Karime. Karime, I think you're in the house here. Let's bring up Karime. We're also going to bring up Kevin Thomas. Kevin, are you here? Let's bring up Kevin Thomas. Okay, and again, I'll kind of reintroduce what they do for anybody watching online, and we'll go through all the questions. I'm going to have you, Steve, be the Q&A guy, and then let's get Randy. Randy, I'll have you over here, and we'll fire through the questions. Okay, Steve, question, what do you got?
If we are ranked number 2 or 2nd in reviews in our niche, should we still run Google ads?
No, but you should go get the most reviews, and then...
No, why are you number 2?
Well, I mean, you can do it. You just have to go be number 1, and then you would not... Because AdWords are very expensive, and you're paying per click. And so if you're paying per click, the money you're spending per click, I'd rather spend that money to pay my staff to go get objective reviews. So I'd rather just do that. So
I skip the ads, and I go to the ones that aren't
Next one.
running ads. Clay, how do you inspire your team to show up as early as they do?
Well, I'm going to give Karime the mic for a second. And Karime served in the military, and let's give her a microphone here. And her company's Whistle While You Clean. You met her daughter earlier. What's your web address there, Karime?
It's whistlewhileyouclean.com.
Do you remember where you were sitting when you and your daughter had the idea to start your business?
Yes, we were sitting right back there.
Is this kind of like church where you found your area and you kind of sit there every time?
It is, actually. We like that spot.
Why do you sit there?
It's out of the way. It's kind of dark. We're hiding back there.
The gentleman with the trailer company, where is he? Trailer company. And your name, sir? Nathan. And he has a trailer company. And I remember talking to you in the parking lot of Reese's at Grand Lake, where I like to go every weekend. So that's where I was. We talked about this. And you have developed a trailer, and we've worked with a company called Primo Trailers. We helped them grow their company and sell it. And so I remember talking to you about this. But the question is, how do you motivate your employees? So and if you're taking notes somewhere on page 0, I just encourage you to do this. The first thing is if you're wanting to plant, if you're a tree, right, and you're wanting to produce apple seeds, you need to be an apple tree. Hopefully this makes sense. If you want to produce apple seeds, you got to be an apple tree. So we got to work on ourselves. Not saying that you do, that's what you have to do. So this really helped me. Dr. Zellner really helped me. And Dr. Zellner, I will try not to cry when sharing this with you, but it was so profound. When my father died, my father was dying of Lou Gehrig's disease. And Steve knows this. If I'm working, I'm locked in the workplace. I'm always going. And Dr. Z, Steve, you've met Dr. Z. He's a friend of yours. And Z does not just waste his time doing things. He's very intentional. He doesn't show up here very much, but he shows up and he's like, Clay, how you doing? My dad had Lou Gehrig's, so he was dying of suffocation slowly. That's how my dad was dying. And he said, you doing okay? And I'm going, no. And then just waterworks, just no. And he's like, can we go outside? I go, yeah. So we go outside. He's like, do you need a dad? And I go, yes. And he's like, all right, well, keep your shit together. And then after work today, man cave, we'll hang out every day, every night. I'm there for you. Can I adopt you? And I said, yes. And he's like, I'm adopting you. So henceforth, son, you're in my family. We're kind of weird. We're working on it, but you're in my, and so when he bought his new condo in Florida, he called me and said, hey, we bought a condo, family condo. When are you coming to stay? Because he's just that kind of guy, you know? But you don't want to work for a guy who's not that kind of guy. And he's just a great person. So the step number one to motivate your staff, and I mean this, we have to become what we want our staff to be, you know? So there's Mary. I like Mary a lot. Mary's great. And Mary says, I think my kid might work out well in your office. I don't know. We're talking. And I'm going, oh, 100%. I know it'll work out. Because I kind of know the prototype of what we're looking for. There's a certain energy. But people that have that certain energy are not going to work for someone that doesn't care. They're going to pick up on the fake smile, the fake, you get what I'm saying? So you have to be what you want to see. Does that make sense? Second thing, Dr. Zellner I've learned so much from this guy. His birthday, he turned 50, and he invited me to his birthday. And, who's ever been to like a 50th birthday or a 60th birthday, kind of a big year for somebody, and you usually celebrate them. You might stand up and give a toast to the person. This crazy guy, at his birthday party, he says, all right, everybody, we're going to do a toast. And this is normal for people to toast the birthday guy or gal or whatever. And he's like, so I'm going to call your name, and I have written a toast for you. And he has written a toast for every guest. So it's like, Mary. And he'll say, I met you here. You did this. You were in my life for that. You mean the world to me. Here's a toast for Mary. And you're like, he does this for everyone for his birthday. So you go, well, how does Dr. Zellner grow the largest optometry clinic, the largest auto auction? How does he do it? There's a lot of systems we do, but he is the real deal. And Steve, you've met him. So I want to ask you, Karime, then I want to ask you, Steve. You were in the military.
Yes.
And when you were in the military, were there certain people you did not want to work under?
Absolutely. There was also a lot of great people.
Let's talk about the great ones.
Okay.
What kind of character traits did you find in the great ones that made you want to get there early, made you want to do the thing?
Well, I was 18 when I joined, and very terrible morals, let's just say that. And it was like instant father figures were in the military, like old school, old guys, very strict, but you could just sense that they cared about you, and those were sharp guys.
So I would just say, and I'm not saying you're not doing this, I'm just saying you have to get to a level of like where the people who work for you know that you really, really, really care. There just has to be that. So the mechanisms is you have a weekly meeting. We talked about that, right? Weekly meeting, right? Then you have a daily huddle, and that's how you do it. That's what you got to do. Now, as far as other details, you want to have a merit-based pay program, so you make sure that you're paying people well if they do well. And then you want to have the group interview. We talked about it, so you're not dealing with bozos. But I want to go to Mike on this. Mike, you've managed the staff. You manage a staff. My daughter, full disclosure, my daughter is now working on your campaign. And who's seen the movie The Campaign with Will the Campaign, and Will Ferrell's in that thing, and who's seen The Campaign? Normally, when I hear about The Campaign, I think about the movie The Campaign. So that's how I think. And so when Havana said she wanted to work with Mike, I was going, yeah, he will be a great, because my daughter is sincere, you're sincere, but my daughter comes home every day and she's like, this great thing happened at the campaign. Mike did this, Mike did that. And then like she loves the energy, the work ethic. And so my daughter's becoming like your number one advocate as a result of working there. So how do you try to motivate your staff, sir?
Well, Havana is our good luck charm. And obviously she's got amazing parents in Clay and Vanessa Clark. Now, in terms of motivating people in a political campaign, they first have to be excited about your vision, that you literally care about the people and you want to improve the lives of the people you're asking to vote for. So instead of talking about platitudes or slogans, when you actually communicate ideas that'll help people, they seem to like that, Clay. And then if you allow everyone to communicate and be part of all of it, which is kind of crazy in a campaign, they love that sense of teamwork and togetherness.
Did I answer your question? And we start our workday here at 5:50 in the morning, and I start at 5:50 because it's a divide, and the people that can't get here at 5:50 can't be in my life. That's how I do it, because I don't want people that can't be here at 5:50 for my office. I just want people that are willing to run through, because we work with business owners. So I can't have someone work with you, Dr. Steve, who can't get to work on time. It just wouldn't work out, So I have a certain expectation, because I work with entrepreneurs. So next question, Steve. What do you got? Next question. Here we go, Steve. Yep.
My team gets in at 5:45. Okay, so how would you change pay structure without pissing off good employees?
I don't know that you can, but I'm going to go to Randy Ancherkin on this. Randy, you are you meet somebody to quote them for their pool, and if they don't take action today, if they don't hire you today, the price will go up because of inflation or in that kind of thing. Kevin, I'll ask you the same question. When you quote people, if they don't lock in the price today, the prices change. And as the price of things goes up, you have to affect people's pay. And there's not really a nice way to tell the contractor that's helping you, hey, I have to pay you less or pay you more or whatever. It is what it is. How do you deal with contractors and customers when you're communicating, hey, the price just went up because you didn't act, or hey, Mr. Contractor, we're going to have to pay you less? Or how do you communicate pay things without pissing people off? Or is it even possible?
Well, I just put everything in writing. I don't leave anything to interpretation. We'll lock in certain quotes for like 90 days. And if the question is about merit-based pay, I could probably answer a little bit of that. Whenever me and Clay started working on switching everybody over from just high salaries to merit-based pay, it comes with a lot of pain, because a lot of people have been there with tenure, and they, they don't like that structure. They want guaranteed pay. So my answer is like, you have to do it like slowly. And then like whenever new people come in, you have these people a little bit grandfathered in, and as you replace people, those new people go on the new pay structure. And then when they start seeing people win that way, a lot of people will have buy-in and they'll jump on board.
So merit-based pay, you're paying people based off performance. Can you do it without pissing people off? I don't necessarily know you can. I would just say this. A particular individual I know who I work with, he's a client of mine. He does pro sports. You're getting paid a lot of money if you're pro sports. You guys all know that. I mean, you're making millions of dollars a year, but his schedule is just radical, and if they don't win, they fire you, so it's like you win, and if you win, you keep your job. If you don't, and it's pro sports, it's a little bit intense. Maybe it's less intense in small business, but you're just going to have to somehow tie success to their pay. It somehow has to happen. And if it ever escapes the laws of capitalism, then what you end up doing is you end up having mandated mediocrity, and you lose financially, and you end up with bloated salaries. So Kevin, you've got a great company, multicleanok.com, over 350 employees. Kevin has over 350 employees, and I want to brag on Kevin. Kevin has over 350 employees. And for 7 consecutive years or whatever it is, Kevin faithfully shows up to his meeting. He knocks out his homework. He's a great guy. He's super kind. And then I was out to dinner with you, and this jerk paid for our meal.
Oh, nice.
That's Kevin right there. A great guy. So Kevin's a great guy. I love this guy. But, I was at dinner with Mike, and Kevin paid for our meal, and I appreciate him doing that. Kevin's just a great guy. But Kevin, merit-based pay. How do you do it? Because, again, if you're not watching those numbers, you're losing money.
Well, actually, the way we do merit-based pay, most of the people that work in our office get a salary. Where we focus on merit-based pay is actually with our cleaners, where we may have 200, 250 employees in the cleaning staff. What we do is we show them a building, and we say, okay, this building is going to be, it'll take you 4 hours, 5 nights a week. And so the reason we decided to pay per building was that if you're a good employee and you like to clean fast and get home, if you work 3 hours, you're only making 3 hours worth of pay. So we pay you for the full 4 hours, regardless of how long you're there. Now, we do have some employees that take advantage and clean for an hour and a half, and the customer notices. But we pay per building, which we call that our merit-based pay, and it motivates them because they know if they can clean faster and quicker and think of a better way to clean and get it clean, the customer's happy. That's how it works for everyone. The customer's happy, and we're happy as well.
I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. We have a photographer in the house. Can you come up here? Can you come up here with your campaign photographer? Yeah, come on up here real quick. Or maybe I can get you some business here. Steve, we're going to interview the photographer because I know this person, Steve. Okay, so Steve, we're going to do
Maisie's photographer.
rude questions with Steve Currington for the photographer. Okay, Steve, you want to start interrogating?
Oh, yeah, what am I supposed to? You want me to ask her questions?
Yeah, ask her questions. You're self-employed, right?
What is your name?
Lacey.
Oh, Lacey. Hi, Lacey.
Hi.
And Lacey, how do I know you?
I started photography working at Epic Photography when I was 20. I'm 36, so 16 years ago.
The company I started, she worked there. I haven't
So,
seen you since that
I'm
time.
still doing this today really because of Clay.
I haven't seen her since she worked for us, you know? And so now you're self-employed.
Yes.
And you do it all, right? You do the photo, the
Do it all.
video.
Yep, I fly drone, I do interviews, I do audio.
What happens if you don't do a good job?
She's a pilot.
If I don't do
drone
a good
pilot.
job,
You do a good job. What happens if you didn't do a good job?
I wouldn't get any more work.
Weird.
I'm assuming.
We getting this idea though? I mean, it starts that. It's very simple. Like you're self-employed, and if you don't do a good job, you don't get work.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happens is we start hiring more employees, and somehow we escape that cause and effect. And now we have Beavis and Butthead working for us, but yet there's still. Are we getting on the same page? So why
Clay-
do you choose to do it all yourself? Why do you do it yourself?
Because of that, I want to control it. I know the product will be the same every time if I do it.
How long have you been on your own?
Since 2020,
How long did you work for Epic Photography?
I think 2 years
When was the last time I saw you? It's been 10 years, hasn't it?
at least.
Okay, yeah. How did you guys run into each other? How did that connection happen? Did you hear that this is a horrible, terrible photographer who does a mediocre job and that's why you hired her? How did that connection happen?
If there's a nice picture of me out there, Lacey did it.
There you go. Okay, Lacey, I'll let you go back to doing your thing. But I just wanted to celebrate. She does a great job, which is why she works with you. You know, it's just, you got to have merit-based pay. Steve, next question, yeah.
Well, can I add something? If
Yeah.
you're pissing people off because you changed pay to make it merit-based, then they probably don't fit. Just a hot tip for you there, because they're going to find their way out. If you're like, hey, you're going to take, you're going to get paid more if you perform more, and that makes them mad, then just like Randy said, the new people that are coming in on that pay. And so the people that aren't happy about it are just going to kind of weed themselves out. And I know that's not for everybody, but
You know, this is a story. This is a COVID story that's the wildest story I've ever heard. True story. I know a guy I'll be very vague about this guy. But how many of you know COVID allowed people to work from home? So I got a guy I've known forever. I'll be very vague how I know him. And he says, Clay, I now have 3 jobs because of COVID. And I go, what? He's like, I'm a government contractor, and I have 3 separate full-time jobs for our same United States government under 3 separate companies, none of which require me to do anything. But they all require you to provide proof, not of work, but proof of vaccination. And I go, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, dude. So I took AstraZeneca, I took the Johnson & Johnson, I took Moderna, I took the Pfizer, and I'm like, how's that going? He's like, I've got some issues.
oh my God.
But I'm telling you, they made you require proof of vaccination, but not proof of work. He's an IT consulting guy who was working from home, and he got super upset because
He's no longer with us.
no, he's not an employee of mine. But when COVID ended, they
No,
made
he's
you
dead.
show up to work. You remember this? How Trump said you have to come back to work? And he's like, I can't come back to work. I work for 3 different companies all over the country. I can't. And I'm just telling you, this is the kind of jackassery that'll happen if you don't have merit-based pay. Back to you, Steve.
There's some questions over here that maybe got skipped. What do
Let's
I say
do it.
to my employees to get them to stick to a script? I can take this one.
Go for it, Steve.
Stick to the script or you're fired. It's easy. And record the calls and listen to them and play them in front of them. And if they don't stick to the script, then you fire them and you get somebody else that'll follow the script.
I would just say
Because
this
no
too.
one wants to follow a script until they do, and then they realize it works, and then they will start repeating it. But if you have a problem with them sticking to a script, that isn't the only problem you have with them. You just don't know it.
Carlton Pearson, again, mentor of mine, awesome guy. Carlton Pearson told me you have to, you probably heard this other places too, but Carlton said that you can only expect what you inspect. I think we know that, right? You can only expect what you inspect. We can only expect what we inspect, right? Another way to phrase it is these are things he would say to me, but you can expect what you accept. So whatever you accept, you can expect. So you've got to get to a place where you follow up and hold people accountable. Okay, next question there, Steve.
Okay, what 2 to 3 habits have helped you guys double your productivity workflow?
Okay, Karime, I mean, you have done a great job. And one of the things that's great about these conferences is, yeah, we picked up a wonderful client from a conference a year ago, but I feel like my kids have picked up a friend. We had you guys over to the house. Sophia's been great. Our twins met your family. We've got a chance to see your business thrive. I feel like our family's picked up a friend. I consider you to be a friend. I know Sean considers you to be a friend. So it's a real win-win thing. But as you've learned all this, is there any particular things that you've learned that have really helped you accelerate your growth?
Yes, one is do the VISM, the video images. They do the SEO content and then more Google reviews. And then the other thing is actually wow your client. It actually works when you sincerely want to serve somebody. You have a product that actually answers their problem and you wow them. They tell their friends about you. They want to hire you again over and over on a reoccurring basis, and they trust you, which is huge.
It's so important you wow the customer. And I have so many examples I could give you. I'll give you a bunch of them. Hopefully they're not all illegal, but some of them are illegal. But I learned over time they were illegal. I used to give every bride and groom after their wedding a copy of the music I played at their wedding. Didn't know that was illegal, but I did it a lot before I stopped. That was a thing. Eric Trump, he's known for leaving handwritten notes in rooms when you stay there. So if you stay there, he'll leave a handwritten note, thank you to the Clarks for visiting us. You don't have to do that, but he does. Sean Copeland, you know Sean, he likes to send handwritten notes. He's the one who started Regent Bank. He'll send a handwritten note in blue pen. He always will sign a handwritten note in blue pen, but it's that extra wow. If you're a cleaning service, leaving a chocolate, leaving a handwritten note, leaving flowers, something that works, you got to wow the customer. Steve, next question. Next question, Steve.
School teacher trying to make extra money. I guess that's a question. How do you?
Okay, let's go to Randy. Randy, you started off as a firefighter, right? You were a firefighter?
Yes.
How long were you doing that?
About 8 years.
Were you married when you were doing that?
Yeah, I was married in 2005. The market crashed in 2008. Got kind of fearful. Went and became a paramedic, firefighter, and then tore my Achilles. So I'm out of it now.
And so you started a business on the side, or did you immediately leave the firefighting and then started, or do you have a business on the side you were building?
No, I had the business from 2005, just kind of had one toe in throughout my firefighter time. I mean, we were $1 million a year. We did pretty good revenue, but whenever I retired from the fire department, we kind of connected.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's been kind of year-over-year growth.
And
You're still pretty good with a hose, though? Like if you had to?
What's that?
You're still pretty good with a hose? Fire hose? No? Like if you...
That's a pretty awkward question.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So wow. Okay. So now the whole situation here with growing a business. I just want to be clear. For whoever asked that question, I think we have a teacher that was asking that question. There you go. Yeah. I'm going to fire off 4 things for you. Where's Patty Mills? Is Patty Mills here? Patty?
Patty?
There's Patty. So a great niche to get into is real estate photography, because the overhead to start real estate photography, Patty, is it about $10,000 of equipment? Yeah. So I would say real estate photography is the best niche, tied with home cleaning services, best niche, because it's a sweat equity business where you can learn a skill and you can solve. So 4 steps. You solve a problem. Find a problem, solve it, sell the solution, nail it, and scale it. So you can make, I mean, I'm not kidding. There's one of my clients right now in Dallas, Texas, that is a multi-millionaire, and he was a paramedic, came to our conference. He's a multi-millionaire real estate photographer. He had never had any experience with it at all, and he only thought about that niche because an employee, this is a crazy story. There's an employee that I fired, follow the story. I fired an employee for being a nefarious guy. He goes down to Dallas and starts hiring, puts ads up on Indeed using my name. So Clay Clark is hiring, come join a winning organization, and then he was hiring them to work for him using my name as a pretense to using my reputation to hire people, right? However, he's an idiot, and so idiots do what idiots do, and he did dumb things. And so this guy came from Dallas to Tulsa to get his paycheck because he'd worked for this guy for 30 days and never got a paycheck. And so Thomas is like, hey, I'm looking for a Clay Clark. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Clay. And he's like, Sir, I don't know if you know, but I haven't been paid for a couple weeks. I'm a paramedic. I do real estate photography for you on the side, and I haven't been paid. I called your office, and no one's calling me back. And my boss told me that he doesn't have any payment, and I just need to get payment. And I want to be nice about it, but I need to get paid. And I'm like, what company do you work for? And he's like, I work for the real estate. Anyway, that's how it started. And I said, well, since you're here, let's start a company. And that's the company, Full Package Media. It's now a $3.5 million business in Dallas, Texas. If you type in Dallas real estate photography, that started as an accident. So real estate photography, home cleaning. Karime, what would you say to someone thinking about maybe starting a home cleaning business?
It's a lot of hard work. I'm not going to lie. My daughter and I, she mentioned we worked like 85 hours last summer. I mean, that's not combined. That's each of us. She's up at 5 a.m. packing supplies, and she's, we're in bed by 10 because we want to be up at 5 again the next morning. So, but it's great. I wouldn't turn back a single moment. It is awesome to do hard work. It's very rewarding. What else do we have to do in this world, right?
By the way, the word work means worship in Hebrew, okay? So if you look up the word work in Hebrew, the word work means worship. God gave Adam the garden to work it, so you work as unto the Lord, not as unto human masters, right? So it's not a bad thing to work. And then if you read Revelation chapter 18, kind of late in the book, Revelation chapter 18, verse 21 through 23, the Bible says that the Antichrist will deceive everybody and no one will have jobs anymore, a.k.a. universal basic income. That's Revelation chapter 18, verse 21 through 23. And if you want to kill someone's soul, give them free money. How many of you have seen that? Okay, so next question. Yeah, go for it. You like that?
I was laughing about the hose thing earlier. Okay, pay
I don't know what you're
structure for a general manager, percent of net, or how would you pay?
Let me
a
go with
general-
one more question here on this. Pay structure in general. Mike, I want to get your thoughts on this so we can see how your brain thinks. If you were a governor or you're running PMHOKC.com or you're running a DJ entertainment company, how do you go about determining pay structure? How would you do that? No matter what, if it's private sector, public, how do you do it?
Whether we're talking about a small business like mine or an executive position at a state agency, I construct it with a base salary, then a percentage of growth on a quarterly basis, and then additional summer and Christmas bonuses. So there's this three-step kind of vision of, wow, if we work hard and do a great job, I get these hits along the way, and at the end of the year, if we're all doing great, there's even more.
How many of you discovered that the higher someone's salary goes, the lower their performance goes? Have you seen that?
Bingo.
There's a direct proportion that you can track it on a graph. Their performance goes down the more the guaranteed they make. So again, I like entrepreneurial minds in government. It's very hard to find them. It's very hard to find any functional minds in government at all, by the way. But so if you have any questions for Mike, Mike will be here. If you got questions for Randy, Randy will be here. Randy's got to go build pools and do great things here later today. Kevin's here. Karime's in the house. Steve's here. But if you bought VIP tickets, we're headed to meet Tim Tebow, okay? And if you didn't buy VIP tickets, you're stuck with me here. And we're going to serve lunch. We've got great lunch from Ted's. It's a great Mexican food. They'll be here. So we got great food. So again, if you bought a VIP ticket, go that way towards my house. You'll know, Aaron, you know where my house is, so you can maybe follow Aaron. They can follow you. And if you didn't, we're here with me. And we're going to come back. Tim Tebow will be joining us at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Don't be late. Tim Tebow, 2 o'clock. Tim Tebow, 2 o'clock. Be back at 2 o'clock. Tim Tebow.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him. Character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
Oh, he is. He is.
Yeah.
And it's for the folks that aren't familiar with you, and probably few and far between, I first came across you, gosh, probably 15 years ago, or maybe even 20.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
I heard about it on the podcast. Started listening to the podcast, became a fan, and then figured out about the workshop. I own an insurance and financial services agency, and I was hoping to learn from the workshop systems and processes. I'm big on systems and processes and always learning better ways to run a business more efficiently. The atmosphere's second to none. It's a high energy, really cool atmosphere to be around. Contagious, I would say. Just something every entrepreneur, I think, would appreciate and love. I'd say humorous, high energy, and full of substance, which I think is the key. A lot of business coaches or seminars maybe are high on motivation and making you feel good, but don't have a lot of substance that you can take back and implement, the following Monday, where his does. Man, there's a lot of valuable things. I'm gonna say, this is my second workshop. The first workshop I took back really the importance of a group interview. I used to spend hours and hours interviewing people, screening resumes, and that saving my time on that part is valuable. It was that and then the sales scripting that have been two major things just so far. Man, I think they're missing out on, expert advice from somebody who's been there, done that, built companies, has learned a lot of lessons. That's what I'm always looking for, is somebody that I can learn from that's ahead of where I am. And I think if you choose not to come, you're missing out on a lot of good advice that could help your business.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships. But one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things, the processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodruff Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, perseverance and, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute, because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach. You know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. My rich dad was one of those persons.
Most of the best in the world in business or in sports, they have also coaches on the side and mentors on the side. Why? Because they want that 1% of 1% of 1% to get better.
You're on it, man. You're on it. You're on it. Everybody listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. You have the macro picture. Very few people have that point of view. Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble.
The Thrivetime Show, 2-day interactive business workshops, are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built the Thrive15.com workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every Thrive15.com workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.